My name is Christina Koch, and I'm one of the research computing facilitators that Lauren just talked about at the Center for High Throughput Computing. And I'm going to give a short talk right now on HTCondor on YouTube. The beginning of this slide is a long-running joke in our Condor community that, that piece of information you need to learn about Condor is on page 790 in the manual. So this talk is going to present an alternative to page 790 in the manual. And that's some of the video resources that we've started to put on YouTube. So we're going to start with a little history. I was, asked the question, how do people learn about HTCondor once they want to start using it in some capacity? And I think many people on this call have probably used the manual or some of the email lists that Lauren mentioned just a minute ago in her talk, or just by trying things and seeing what happens. The pedantic among you will note that the picture of Margaret Hamilton on the left is actually the code, not the manual, but I thought it was a nice representation of lots of information piled together. So these are all available resources for learning about Condor, but I think we as a team have noted that another main way that people learn about using Condor and how to run it is HTCondor week, coming, listening to the talks. And so we've sort of observed that the HTCondor week materials have become a sort of set of informal community learning materials. So if you go to this link of past Condor weeks, there's links to all these different presentations, and people, obviously there's some, when we're in person, there's conversations that can happen, but those slides and presentations have been really valuable for a lot of people. We get a lot of questions where it's like, well, I saw this on this old Condor week presentation. So clearly people are using them. But there's limitations to that format. There's sometimes context and what was said missing from the posted slides. Not everyone can come to Condor week, especially when it's in person. And we've given a lot of these presentations over and over. We just kind of give them each, similar presentations each year. But what if we didn't have to do that? What if we could capture some of this extra information, make things more available, and share more broadly? So, dun, 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 we have entered the 21st century and started recording some of our kind of standard recurring presentations from Condor week, and you'll see in a minute from a few other events, and putting them on YouTube. And so far we have about a dozen videos organized into a couple different playlists. And so from here, we're going to switch over to my web browser and just give everybody, so you can see my web browser. Yes.
Yep, you can see it.
Okay, great. So this is the Center for High Throughput Computing channel on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search Center for High Throughput Computing, this is what should come up. And so this is the kind of first page, which has some of the playlists and videos. If you go to the videos tab, you can see all the videos we've posted. So there's about 12 here. And then the videos have been organized into a couple different playlists. One that's kind of OSG, Condor CE centric, a playlist with our tutorials that are more administrator focused for people who are running their own Condor pools, and then a user tutorial playlist. So this, for example, is the user tutorial playlist. And as it says on the left, this would be for someone who already has a Condor pool set up and wants to learn how to use it. Whereas the administrator playlist is more about how to run your own Condor pool. There's a couple different options there. So still kind of limited, but it's a start. I will say that probably this was actually purely through views. These are the videos with the most views on this page are the user's guide to submitting HTCondor jobs. So that's one of the user tutorials. An introduction to high throughput computing, and HTCondor. So this has some of the same content as that first presentation, but not in as much depth. So possibly a better introduction for new folks. And then finally, the video with the most views is, I think it's from last week's Condor Week, Mark's demo of how to install HTCondor. But because there have been so many changes over the past year, that is out of date at this point. So maybe replaced soon with more updated instructions on how to set up your own Condor pool. And then for people's reference, there's just a summary here of what I just showed on the webpage of the different videos that we have so far, and a little bit about the topics and how you could think about them being organized. So this is, again, for reference later for those who are finding the slides on the internet. So yeah, that was just, we wanted to give you a quick overview of the channel so that you know it exists. It's a resource for this community, for you to learn yourself, to share with other people who are starting out and could use a little reference. You could use bits of it for orientation or for asynchronous training or like an onboarding process, kind of whatever makes sense for you. If these videos are useful, please use them and share them with other members of the community. So it's here, it's for you. We'd love to get your input. And in fact, right now, if people have the chat available, if you could chime in with one or two more talks that you would like to see, that you either, this isn't like your dream talk that you would like us to give, but talks that you've heard before, or topics that you know the Condor team has presented about before that you'd like to have in a video. So you can either message me or anyone, honestly, those suggestions directly, or pop them in the chat. We'd love to hear what would be most useful for people. And if you have any ideas about how we could make this channel more findable or useful in other ways to you or your community, we'd love to get that feedback as well. So,
yeah. So thank you, Lauren and Christina. And I want to stress that all this is an integral part of the path award and where we are heading. Community building is a cornerstone of what we are doing, and it also links to what I pointed out yesterday about the democratization of access to capacity. So I also want to remind you that we have the Condor users list, and please use that to send requests to Christina. It's not only what you will put into the chat. If something comes up or you have an idea, now even better than that, if you have videos that you want to contribute, send them our way. If it is you gave a presentation at your institution, and obviously when we get into multilingual and stuff like that, we can use a lot of help. So community building is extremely important to us, and I would encourage you to use the HTCondor users list, not only for the Mountain Dew drinkers who want to know something about this feature or the other one, but also for material for the community in terms of training and help.